lamb is searing, and we're gonna move on to some other ingredients that we need to put into this dish.
We are. So we've got our potatoes, we've got our Brussels sprouts. It's gonna be time to mushroom this all up. We're gonna be making a mushroom sauce. I'm gonna take some of the Kitchen Pride mushrooms, these little creminis or baby portobellos, and we're gonna put that in with our little vegetable and potato and sausage mixture.
And some sausage medley.
Yeah, about 2/3 less than what I would have put in if it hadn't been knocked on the ground. And I tell you what, I'm also gonna be chopping up some baby kale and some herbs and green onion that's gonna get put onto our lamb, and some of it's gonna go onto our vegetables. And we got those from a recent farm visit.
A recent farm visit to Garden Harvest Farm in Waxahachie, Texas. Say it.
Waxahachie, Texas.
Waxahachie,
so y'all go take a look.
Waxahachie, whatever you think, take a look.
You and your husband Larry went into farming when?
Well, we were both teaching, and then we decided that we wanted to start farming because of the quality of the food that we were getting. And so we started farming about 10 years ago. It took about 5 years for us to really get the farm going because the soils were really bad. So we had to get compost, we had all the amendments that we have to put on there. So it took about 5 years to get the soil well enough to start growing it organically. And of course, we never used pesticides, but it took about that long. After that, we started pushing for people to come and buy.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're small, but they'll go pretty fast. I mean, we planted those. We have some bigger ones over there, but it's a tiny.
That's tasty. I just ate a whole carrot in one bite.
In one bite,
Makes
yes.
me feel like actually, this would be perfect for you. Because you can see what normal carrots look like to me.
We developed a power green mixture where we put the romaine lettuce, the baby kale, the baby collard, the cilantro, a little bit of arugula, and spinach or tight soy. Have you ever had tight soy? Well, we've got a whole bunch of that going into the field, but we've got that white over there is full of that power green.
For the potatoes, what are you actually planting?
Oh, what we do is we buy them in 50-pound bags, and we cut them.
Okay.
And the potato has to have eyes, the eyes are what. So what we do is we take the potato and we either cut them in half or in fourths. And then we let them, what we do with them is we go over there to the burn pile and we pick up a lot of ashes, and then we powder them in those ashes. And we let them sit for 2 or 3 days to dry. And then after that, we plant them.
Why the ashes?
You just need to powder it with something so they won't rot. You have to have something dry on them, and they will dry up. It'll keep them from, because once you cut them, there's moisture there, so you have to keep that moisture from.
And then after you plant it, how many potatoes do you get from that?
You get about a pound and a half per plant.
All right, thanks, y'all.
Oh, yum, yum, yum.
Delicious stuff there.
Yes.
I love all the fresh produce. Pretty exciting how many different varieties of potatoes are doing that you can get in different stages from, Yukons that might grow up to be huge.
I love the fingerling.
Small.
Yes, and I love the fingerling potatoes, especially right now, because I cut them up and roast them quickly. They're not too big, and
yeah, they get really caramelized too.
And they're a really pretty presentation too.
So we're just going to put some of the mushrooms in there. Those again are the creminis. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil.
Okay.
Now we're going to go with our seasoning again, some salt, some black pepper.
Okay.
And this is going to go into a 400-degree oven for about 30 to 35 minutes. We're going to get everything caramelized in there, and it's going to come out to be our stuffing for your lamb.
Yum. All right. You want this open?
Sure, perfect. Okay, and meanwhile, I had already sliced a handful of creminis as well. This is going to be for our sauce. And even if you don't like mushrooms, I'd encourage you to put them in the sauce and then strain them out later, because they're going to add this real richness of flavor.
Right.
Okay, so those are starting to sizzle.
And you got that on high heat.
I do. I want to get the moisture out as quick as possible. So if you want really caramelized mushrooms and you want them brown, you have to have high heat, and you want to start with oil and not butter, because the butter is going to start to burn or to brown before you get caramelization in the mushrooms. And also, one last little note on that, don't add salt to the mushrooms till after they're caramelized.
There's so much moisture already in salt.
Salt pulls it out.
Right.
Same way that we don't add salt to the meat, we're wanting to do the same thing here. We don't add salt till the very end. That's gonna make sure we get them nice and caramelized without having them get soggy.
Right.
So let's pull the lamb off. I'm gonna
All right.
show you how to make that into a crown here in a little bit.
Right here?
And you got it, just pull it right off there.
All right. So far, I can handle this. We've salt and peppered it, and we
This will
seared
be the
it.
interesting side. It's gonna be that we're puncturing a hole on each side of the lamb.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna put some butcher's twine in there. We're gonna shape it like that, and that's how we're gonna make the crown roast.
That is so pretty on your Easter table. Yes, it is. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with all the details.